What's up, nerds? How we doing? It's Rebecca J. Welcome back to the channel. So, I came across this very interesting thread on Threads. I wanted to share with you guys because as a low key blurred, a little black nerd myself, for me, I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. It's exciting. It's fun. I love seeing black people being allowed to be weird and whimsy. But it's interesting to me because a lot of black people are very uncomfortable with it. But it's this thread of like black vampires or like people who I guess pretend to be or cosplay to be like mythological creatures like fays and vampires and warlocks and stuff like that. But as I was scrolling through the thread at looking at all the beautiful black vampires, there were also a lot of black people in there that were like, "This is weird," and I've seen more posts since then about people of like, "Oh, y'all just letting black people be vampires now," da 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 da, and I just wanted to talk about it real quick. I want to share it because I think it's beautiful. I think it's lovely. I think it's fantastic. The blurred community that I didn't know existed, but I'm glad to know it does, and I'm glad to know that there are black people out there living carefree and do whatever the fuck they want with their free will. So this is the thread that I came across on Threads. Which, by the way, if you're not on Threads, it's a fun black ass time over there. Anyway, this is the original post by Azra Kai Lucian. And he made this post saying, "I don't hide what I've become anymore. Welcome to the age of the hybrid." So this was his original post. And then, as you can see, there are like 15K likes and almost 5,000K responses. And half of them are people just being ridiculous. But then there's a whole bunch of other black people that are into this. And I think it's fucking amazing. First of all, everybody looks fine as hell. Like this person is Faye, which is like fairies, if I'm not mistaken. Going off of my very limited knowledge only by video games. Grandfather used to talk a lot about you. Wow, blessed to see you. Threads is dropping me off in the black. See, there's a lot of these reactions that are people just absolutely baffled. Like, I also didn't know that this existed, but I am not threatened by it. I think it's great. Like, look at this. This is so beautiful to me. I love black people being allowed to be weird, to be strange, to be just out there. Like, black is not a monolith. Black people are also nerds. Black people are interested in fantasy and world building and cosplay. And I think this is great. So we just got vampires out here reveal themselves and ain't nobody scared. But also my thing is like, first of all, we black in America. What else could possibly scare us at this point? It's a few vampires being black. I feel safe. This person said they're on the more of the mermaid siren. The mermaid community I am a little bit more familiar with, but it's in the same category of just like fantasy and myths and legends. And yeah, see, here's a siren as well. Also, why every single one of these people are fine as fuck? All of y'all fine. Okay, does getting bitten by a vampire make you all that? All right, do I need to get bit by a vampire for my glow up too? Y'all telling me that this is cosplay or AI. If this is real, I have terrible, nasty tasting blood. Y'all are so scary. Like, what about this is bothering y'all? I don't understand. Hey, Vigga is crazy. Vigga is crazy. Y'all are unhinged. My goodness. This is Elvin. I do know a couple people who have like actually gotten their ears like this. I think this person probably has she has like the inserts or whatever that you put on, like that you add on. But I know that there are people that genuinely get their ears cut to look like elven ears. Yeah, this person too, I think also, yeah, they have like I don't know, like a extension. What do you call them? I don't know. That's not my ministry. But yeah, the elves, the fays, the mermaid. Oh, I love this. This is so beautiful to me. I feel like witches doesn't really fall into this category. Not knocking y'all, because do what you want. But I feel like black people are much more comfortable with the idea of like magic. Like like voodoo and hoodoo are all very cultural for us. I feel like people have embraced like the idea of magic and witches a lot more than this side of things, of like the elvish and the fae and the mermaids and the sirens. For some reason, that is where y'all draw the line. And what's interesting about this is I don't think this is, I mean, I do think some people are just cosplaying, but a lot of these seem like people have like actually adapted this as a lifestyle. And to me, I think that's fine. You're not hurting nobody. Do what you want. Exactly. This entire thread, a whole community to know this exists, and all of y'all fine. Like, how are all of y'all fine? All of y'all fine as hell. Somebody come bite me. So then I went back to the original poster. I went to his profile, and it kind of seems like this is like a mix between cosplay and role play. It's almost like a long-term role play type thing. Because like his whole page is about being a vampire. He has like an origin story. Like here it says, 3 years ago, I would have told you vampires weren't real. I would have laughed in your face. I thought all of it was fantasy, movies, stories, people looking for something to believe in. And then I met my maker. At that point, I had already left the military. My body was falling apart, neurological issues, pain, symptoms nobody could fully explain. I was exhausted, frustrated, and looking for the answers. And that's when he gave me a choice, not a demand. Not a threat, a choice. He told me most people don't survive the bite. The body rejects it. The blood rejects it. Some die within hours. Some lose themselves completely. He told me if I chose this path, there's no going back. I said yes. What happened next should have killed me, but it didn't. Later, I learned something that caught his attention from the beginning. My blood, AB negative, one of the rarest types on Earth. Down so you guys can pause to read if you want to. But also, I encourage you, if you're interested in it, to just go back and look up his profile yourself. But listen, as somebody who is very into like fantasy lore and myths and legends, and this is totally my field, but I'm not in this community, and I don't think this is like personally my type of thing that I would get into. I just find it really fun. I find it fun. I find it cool. I love supporting like alt black people who don't fit this mold of like what people think that black is supposed to be. And that's not even just like white people. There's a lot of people within the black community, as we see from that post. And this was posted 4 days ago, and I've seen a lot of follow-up posts on Threads because it's been making the rounds of people just like genuinely upset that this exists. And I don't know why. Also curious, because when I come across things that I don't know, I don't understand, I actually research and I look things up. So I was actually curious because I know that there are people that like genuinely like role play to the extreme. And so I was really curious about like actual communities of so-called vampires, right? And I found this this article from the Smithsonian that talked about, and it's from 2015, so it is a little outdated, but it was really interesting to go through because there are communities of people who actually practice vampirism. When I was going through this, they talk about how they're actually usually really friendly people. This article in particular is based off of a study that comes out of Georgia Tech, and this person was like studying these different communities and people from like all over the world, like so from New Orleans to Russia to South Africa. The reason they're friendly is that they aren't truly the supernatural bloodsuckers of legends. Like obviously they're not really vampires, so like they're not really doing any harm to anybody. They just decided to live in this alternate reality. But it is interesting because through this study that this person did from Georgia Tech, there are some communities that actually do consume blood. From this excerpt, it says like their self-described nature begins to manifest around or just after puberty. It derives, according to them, from the lack of subtle energies their bodies produce, energies other people take for granted. That is a general consensus. It's a condition they claim to be unable to change, so they embrace it, which to me is not that crazy. Like obviously, like for me personally, like this is not where I would go from that, but I feel like there's a lot of ways that people feel like something is missing from their body or just something is not right, and they turn to things like witchcraft, or they turn to vampirism or holistic. Like that is where a lot of this like alternate stuff comes from, is just this feeling that like something is missing, or there's some other force or energy at work here that like the traditional narrative of society doesn't explain. So like to me this is not that crazy. They just decided to go the vampire route instead of like stars and crystals and prayer or religion, right? This is all the same shit. It is noted that like the communities are like they're not like going out and killing people or going out and like biting people. Their bloodletting ceremonies or rituals are usually willing donors. I think it's interesting because I actually, where I'm from in Washington State, there is a vampire bar, and I had grown up there my whole life, and I had never known it was there. And I went in there actually on accident one time, and they were doing a bloodletting ceremony, and I was like, this is crazy. But that was more scary because they were white people. Honestly, a bunch of black vampires, I'm not really that worried about. White people, now that's something to be concerned about. So there definitely are people that take it much more seriously and actually make it like a lifestyle. I mean, like this is a whole community that has been doing it for generations since the 1970s, and that to me is just absolutely fascinating. Love when people use their free will to the fullest extent, right? And I think a lot of people who are upset about it are people who aren't using their free will. Like you have your free will to go do whatever, and every single one of you has some childhood dream or some childhood quirk that you wish that you could have acted on but you didn't because you were afraid of being judged or being the odd person out. These are all people that just said, I don't give a fuck what other people think. And they embraced it and they went with it. And I think it's fucking amazing. Even though it's not something that I personally would participate in, I love to see black people doing whatever the fuck they want to do. Because why not? The world is on fire. If you wanted to pretend to be a vampire or a mermaid or a lichen or a werewolf or whatever the fuck, girl, have at it. And I love what this researcher ended on when they asked him, like, why would you study vampires? And he said that studying vampires is also the study of self-empowerment. And I love that because I really do think a lot of like the alt community in general is really just studying self-empowerment and self-confidence. Like the amount of self-confidence and empowerment you have to have within yourself to go against the grain of what society tells you you are and are not allowed to do. That in itself is resistance, right? And I think we should be supporting that. As long as your resistance is not causing harm to anybody else, have fucking fun. As a fantasy girly, I love a fantasy world. I love like the elvish vampires. Like that is right up my alley. That's where my nerdum lies. Now I'm not really a cosplay roleplay person, so I would never like join this level of things, but I just love seeing black people being allowed to be creative and be free and be weirdos. Why do we not let black people be weird? You know, we allow that freedom to pretty much every other ethnic group except for black people. Like black people, we always expect black people to be so serious and be so like for the culture, but it's like our culture is not a monolith. Black people are everything. The whole reason that I decided to make a video on this is because since that post, which was 4 days ago, I've seen many follow-up posts since then from other, particularly black people, because I don't really follow white people, being like genuinely upset that this like community exists. And I don't understand why. To me, it's no different than just creative writing. I mean, that's really all it is, right? We're just black people who are very creative. They've written this origin story and this role for themselves to play, and they're just playing it out in real life. And what the fuck is the problem with that? I don't understand. Maybe y'all just need to get more creative or tap into your creative side. The other thing to me that I was thinking about this morning, because I saw somebody post that was like oh, this better be AI because otherwise you guys are crazy or whatever. And to me it's like, y'all will accept believing in like the stars and believing that crystals will heal cancer, and like if you drink seaweed then you know COVID will go away, and that to you makes sense. But black people pretending to be mermaids is crazy to you. As somebody who doesn't tap into either side, I'm tell you that both of y'all are two different sides of the same nutcase. Y'all both crazy, okay? And that's fine. Right? I don't have a problem with the holistic girlies. I don't have a problem with the vampire and the fae and the fantasy girlies, because y'all are allowed to be weirdos. You're allowed to be crazy. You're allowed to believe in whatever you want to believe because it don't hurt nobody. But anyways, that's it for today. I had come across that the other day and I thought it was so cool and I wanted to share it with y'all. But yeah, stop being afraid of being whimsy and let Black people be weirdos. That's all. Bye.